Maladjusted Misfits.
Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Joe.
And together we're the Maladjusted Misfits.
And this is the one where we talk about friends. Adam, can you run and get me some lemonade before we start? My throat is parched.
Sure thing. Ooh.
No. Never mind. I rescind the request.
Hello. Welcome, Misfits, and hello to any new Friends fans that stumbled upon our podcast.
And every week we rewatch the next episode in sequential order.
And I hurt myself this week.
Yeah, it's not funny. I'm not laughing about that.
You're just laughing because I just said it really loud to everybody for no reason.
You're at that certain age where you bend over to get a laundry basket and throw your back out.
Yeah, and then you're like, ow, I can't move for 3 days. So that's where we are.
Yeah. We're a little late recording, but you'll never know because you don't get it till Friday.
That's right.
Adam has to edit.
Yes, from its soft chair with plenty of back padding.
All right, what episode are we doing this week?
This week we're doing the one with the flashback.
Oh, what's our plot?
The gang remember the events of 3 years ago when several of them almost slept together.
They almost slept together.
Almost.
All right. Guess who's back as our director?
Who?
Peter Boners.
I believe it's Boners.
You've talked to him personally.
Bonners.
It's like Bono, but yeah, so he's back. Under IMDb, I just noticed this a couple episodes ago that there's alternate names for people. So I started going there when I look for trivia and stuff about them.
Okay.
So under his alternate name, it says The Committee.
Ooh. I want to be known as the something.
Peter moved to New York in the early 60s and joined The Premise, an improv group. And then after a stint as a draftee in the U.S. Army, he hooked up with The Committee, another improv troupe that's situated in San Francisco. So that's where he got The Committee. Our episode...
Very nice. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was still reacting to the last thing.
Our episode writers are our creators, Marta Kaufman and David Crane.
Oh, nice.
So we've talked a lot about the creators, but I still search for something to say, and along the lines of Peter Boners, I looked at the alternate names, and you know what it said?
Well, I looked at it, so I know, but go ahead and tell me.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Marta Kaufman Arquette and David Crane Arquette.
Right.
Which is when Courtney Cox married David Arquette.
Right. Everybody's in the credits was.
But I thought that was hilarious.
They're also known as this.
So that's your bit of trivia on Marta Kaufman and David Crane this week.
Yeah. Very nice.
What was our original air date?
The original air date was October 31st, 1996.
Halloween?
Halloween.
Oh, you think they would have done a Halloween themed one?
Well, going by the movies that were playing that weekend, not a lot of Halloween movies.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I thought so.
So what was playing that weekend?
The number one movie of the week was Romeo and Juliet, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Claire Danes. And just when I was clicking, I was like, oh, I haven't seen that in a while. I was clicking through the pictures on IMDb. And David Schwimmer's at the premiere.
How funny.
Dressed like a toddler, like he always is.
Always ties back to the friends.
And then further down the top 10 list was Larger Than Life.
Aw, that was a cute movie.
Elephant movie starring Bill Murray, Janine Garofalo, and a super wacky performance by Matthew McConaughey.
You've tried to look for that, and we haven't been able to.
No, we found it.
Oh, we did find it.
Yeah, we did find it.
We did have a.
It's more available now than it was.
Yeah, now that there's all these streaming things.
Yes.
So. All right, are you ready for some trivia?
I am ready.
All right, so there's a scene where Joey thinks that Monica is attracted to him.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a partial nod to what the show's creator had planned before all the casting of the roles. So they thought originally Joey and Monica would get together.
Right. Okay.
But then once they cast Jennifer Aniston as Rachel, the idea changed to Ross and Rachel being the first couple because they saw the chemistry between David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Marissa Riabisi portrays Rachel's friend Betsy in this episode. She's the twin sister of actor Giovanni Riabisi.
Really?
Who plays Frank Jr.
Yeah. Oh.
I thought that was really funny.
So is she the Pennywise looking one?
She's the right. Which is funny because when you look her up on IMDb, she's completely normal looking. But this episode, she is Ronald McDonald.
Right. She was like, give me a Pennywise in like a Scotch outfit.
Yeah. That plaid.
Yeah.
Mr. Heckles appears for the last time in this episode.
I was like, oh yeah, Mr. Heckles come back.
I know, it was fun. But his character did die last season. So since it was a flashback, they brought him back.
Right.
And then when watching the entire series in strict story chronologic order, this episode is the one that can be watched before the pilot episode.
Oh, right.
So
So if you're going to watch them in
chronological order.
Well, then you'd put the videotape.
Yes, put the videotape one. Well, that's
right. There's more than you could. Yeah. All right.
We're doing the Back to the Future past thing. When Monica asks Phoebe why her bed is missing, Monica is vacuuming with something called a rainbow vacuum.
Oh, okay.
This is a very expensive, privately sold vacuum. Sold primarily through home demonstration, much like the Kirby vacuum.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember the Kirby from Mr. Mom.
Mr. Mom.
The Kirby vacuum.
The Kirby ate my whoopee.
Yeah.
This episode was used as a testing ground for potential couples who had not previously been romantically linked, like Monica and Joey, Rachel and Chandler, Phoebe and Ross. However, none of these pairings gained a positive reaction from the audiences. And as a result, not went any further than this episode. Except, of course, Chandler and Monica.
Yeah.
And their sweet little heart-to-heart.
Right. And they have the sweetest moment out of everybody.
Dude, this is one of my favorite moments. And my goodness, Mr. Guinness poster.
Did you just have a stroke? Whoa.
No, in the bar, so in the bar before it's changed, there's in the doorway, there's a poster called My Goodness, Mr. Guinness poster.
Oh, I see.
And that ends up in Chandler and Joey's apartment.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw that in the background.
Yeah. So
Yeah. It looks like a Andy Capp or Wimpy or old-timey cartoon running.
It's really funny. I thought that was cute. So, what were your episode reactions this week?
Well, it's fine. I don't love this one. It's not that I don't like it. It's fine. Fine always sounds worse than it really is. But my back hurts and I'm in kind of a mood. So it's fine. I'm just going to leave it as it's fine.
Okay.
I think there might be some extenuating circumstances.
Yes, if you'd watched it when you felt better and your back didn't hurt. All right. I think it's a good episode, too. It's funny to see the beginnings of their friendships and Ross finding out his wife is a lesbian. That's a funny thing. That was almost one of my favorite lines, because now we're going to do favorite lines.
Yeah.
When she goes, do you think that Susan's her lover? And she goes,
I do.
Now I do. I wrote that down. But I do have to go with when Chandler tells Monica that he doesn't know why she has a boyfriend. She should have a boyfriend. And she goes, I think so. I just love her delivery. I think it's so cute.
It's very cute. I think I should. Well, my favorite line, I went with Phoebe.
Okay.
When she's like, she tells Monica, that everybody else knows she moved out. And then she goes, that was supposed to be a good thing, and I forget why. I feel like I've been in those situations where but this,
it's not as
I
bad
don't know
as
why I thought that would make you happy.
Kudos for her trying, though. All right, favorite moment. Obviously, I went with Chandler and Monica. I'm not sure if it's planned to be a teaser of what was to come from them, but I love the moment when Chandler is hugging Monica in her towel. It's so sweet. It's a total sitcom trope, but I'm a sucker for it, I guess.
Yeah,
I love it.
You're a sucker for those. My favorite moment, I went with something a little more lighthearted. I went with when Mr. Heckles has to stop mid-con with Eric to see if the door is unlocked. And then he's like, Ah. He kind of hesitates for a second.
That was really funny.
And then he turns the door down.
Yeah. All right, favorite outfit. We already mentioned it, but I'm going to go ironic.
Ironic.
Yes, I don't do many ironic outfits, but I'm going to pick this one. The full-on plaid outfit of Giovanni's twin, curly red hair, that thick gold necklace. Wow. And she is paler than I.
She is very white. She looks like someone that hasn't been colored in yet.
She looked like a vampire.
Again, Pennywise.
Yeah.
I feel like she's going to go, Rachel, everybody floats down here.
All right, I'm scared. Let's not do that again.
Hey, it's October.
All right, what was your favorite outfit?
Okay, I'm going to go with Phoebe's hippie outfit with the doily vest.
With the fringe?
Well, not with the fringe.
Oh, the doily vest.
The
Okay.
doily vest where she makes out with Ross. And
Yes.
it's like, I like it, but then I don't, but then I do. It looks cute on her.
Right.
I don't know. It's not healthy. I'm very torn.
All right, let's talk about the themes we explored this episode.
All right.
Theme 1, roommates moving out or moving in?
Number 2, asking someone in for lemonade.
Ooh,
Lemonade?
please. That's from The Simpsons.
Yes.
Theme 3, consoling your friend for not having a boyfriend or one who just found out that their wife is a lesbian.
And theme 4, almost hooking up, but not. For the sake of the show. I like how they're like, okay, let's test out some scenarios.
Yeah.
Let's,
Ross and Phoebe would have been fucking weird.
weird.
Yeah, weird. They're like complete opposites.
Right. I do like their little moment. Like, she
Yes.
was just consoling him and it almost turned into something else.
Yeah.
I think that's a very plausible almost
Yep.
thing.
Absolutely.
I think that's the best one.
Yeah.
I mean, you like the Chandler and Monica
yeah.
hugging, but I think that's the most plausible.
Agreed. All right, we're going to take a quick break before we break down the episode. No, Mr. Heckles, no one is making any noise up here.
You're disturbing my oboe practice.
You don't play the oboe.
I could play the oboe.
Then I'm going to have to ask you to keep it down.
Who are you?
Hi, I'm Eric. I'm going to be Chandler's new roommate.
I'm Chandler's new roommate.
I don't think so.
I could be Chandler's new roommate.
But he told me over the phone.
He told me in person.
That's weird.
Well, I'm going to go into my new apartment now. Huh? Bah!
All right.
All
We're
right,
back.
We're back. All right, so the cold open, we're at Central Perk, the whole gang, plus Janice. And at 0 seconds in, Janice has a question. And that question is, which of the 6 of the friends have slept with which of the 6 of the friends? And Phoebe points out it's like a dirty math problem.
I do like that line.
So is Janice curious, or is she trying to find out if she has competition for Chandler? Is she just trying to, which one of these has laid hands on you?
Yeah. She's stirring something.
Yeah. Ross says none of them.
And then on the DVD, there was a cut line, which I thought was really funny.
Okay.
When Ross says, none of us, and Rachel says, yeah. And if that doesn't change soon, I'm going to dump you for someone who puts out. Because they are dating,
Yes.
and they have done it.
Right.
So she's clarifying.
And I almost picked her, she's got like an orange t-shirt and like a little Halloween apron on, and I almost picked that, but I went with Phoebe's because you couldn't really see that outfit at all. But Janice clarifies, over the years, none of you have gotten drunk and stupid.
And that's really a different question, Joey points out.
Yes.
Which I think is a funny line, too.
But Janice cannot believe that a group of people that spends as much time together as them has never bumped uglies. And Joey recalls one time when Rachel and Monica almost got together, but the lady shut that down pretty fast. But he's still like, how might that go?
Which I think is really funny, and I don't know if it's a sign of the times or what, but like people do that all the time. Like, we had a big group of friends who would joke and they'd be like, what about her and her getting together?
Right.
And we would play along like, oh yeah, we used to do it all the time, blah,
Right.
blah, 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 blah. Just to be silly. But they were like, no,
Right.
that never happened.
Well, they were hurrying up to get to the rest of the episode.
Okay.
Like, this whole beginning is a setup for the rest of the episodes. Then Janice tries another strategy, asking if any of them have ever almost.
Oh.
And then they suddenly all get distracted. Joey's like, there's a dog outside. And they all blah. And then we cue, I'll be there for you.
I like Chandler's look up at the ceiling.
Yeah.
All right, we're at Monica and Rachel's, but when it was Monica and Phoebe's, with Mon, Phoebes, and Ross.
Yeah.
Phoebe's in her robe and the cutest braids. I can't do braids. I have a lot of hair, but it's very fine, so it looks like a rat tail. Okay, I digress. But I wish I could have braids.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so Phoebe says, cute naked guy is putting on weight.
Aw.
Where we cut to 3 years later, and he's ugly naked guy.
Yeah.
Mon comes out of her bedroom saying she'll be back in a minute, grabbing her laundry basket. And then she passively aggressively apologizes to Phoebe for leaving lipstick on the phone when she knows it was Phoebe.
Oh, yes, she does. Oh, I'm sorry I did that.
Yeah. And I like Phoebe's bye-bye. And she turns on Ross and goes, that's why I moved out. Ross asks when she's going to tell Monica that she doesn't live there anymore, to which Phoebe assures him that on some level, I think she already knows.
Yeah. And Ross is wearing like a Garanimals t-shirt.
He looks like a toddler.
Yeah, he's wearing the outfit I wore in 3rd grade.
I think you have a school picture with that shirt on. So he explains that Mon has no clue that she sneaks out every night and sneaks back every morning, and that she's been living with her grandmother for a week.
Oh, okay, maybe not on those levels.
Ross explains that procrastination only leads to more difficulty, or something like that. Phoebe agrees, but in a cut line, she asks Ross to help her move some bulky stuff for her. A clock radio and some cemetery dirt.
Yeah.
So Chandler comes in with a goatee.
Yeah.
I need to let that sit there for a minute.
Yeah, Chandler with a goatee.
Yeah.
It's
Not a fan. Not a fan. He's lamenting that he will never find a roommate ever. And Phoebe says, no one good? And then Chandler goes through the list. The guy with the ferrets, plural.
Oh, no.
The spitter. I wonder if this is the spitting minister later on.
Oh.
They remember they
Yeah.
said the spitter? The guy who liked his name too much. Nice to meet you, Chandler Bing.
Bing!
Great apartment, Chandler Bing.
Bing!
He has 2 more interviews tomorrow. A photographer who seems really dull, and an actor guy who Chandler is hesitant about because when he answered the phone, Chandler Bing, he said, whoa, short message.
Bing! That when he makes the noise like that, it sounds like the elevator in Die Hard.
It does. When you were doing it, that's exactly what I thought of. I was like, uh-oh, there's a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
What do you think of fucking stupid Hans?
Bing! So Mon comes back with her laundry and says, Ross, feet on the floor or come over no more.
Bye-bye.
And Ross quips under his breath, your dresser is missing, but this, she notices, I have to go. So Ross says Carol should be home by now, and Chandler asks how it's going, and he says better. He figured out why they were having so much trouble. She doesn't have friends like he does. Why can't she hang with them?
I think they've implied before that they did hang. She did hang with them, but yeah. they're very inconsistent.
Okay.
I can't make an excuse every time.
And then that toddler Garanimal shirt Ross is wearing, his suggestion to find friends drove Carol directly into Susan.
Yes, she was like, "I'm tired of dating a 5-year-old." He plays with dinosaurs
and buys some men's clothes.
Okay, so then we're at Chandler's apartment.
Right.
Chandler and the doll photographer, and then eventually Joey. Sinister goatee Chandler asks Eric what kind of photography he does, and Eric answers fashion. So there might be models here from time to time. I hope that's cool. And Chandler concedes that is cool because he has models there never. Eric goes on to explain that most summers he spends at his porn star sister's beach house. A beach house which Chandler would have access to. Chandler breaks a pencil with excitement at the idea of banging Eric's unseen porn star sister, who probably has a wonderful head of hair, judging by Eric. Chandler admits to having one more interviewee for the room, but unless it's Eric's sister, he thinks Eric's chances are pretty good. And then Eric holds out a hand for Chandler to shake, but Chandler hugs him instead. So, Joe,
Yeah.
I have a question for you about Eric. You know I subscribe to the philosophy that if something is too good to be true, it probably is. Mm-hmm. So is Eric A, lying to get the room, or B, going to kill Chandler and or eat him?
I think this is a Eddie situation about to happen. I don't trust this Eric photographer guy. Whenever you just start off meeting someone and say, my sister's a porn star.
I'm going to have models over here all the time in various states of undress.
You're kind of sleazy right off the bat. Right. Not that there's anything wrong with porn. I'm not prudish or judging anybody, but that's just... I feel uneasy about Eric.
I'm assuming there's no sister.
Okay.
You're assuming there is a sister.
And the whole family's gross.
Right. Cut to Chandler's later, and Joey is standing in his 90s Italian I'm from Queens uniform as Chandler gives him a super fast tour to get the Goodfellas background actor out of here so he can get the models and porn stars moved in. And then Joey wants some questions, though. He's probably practiced. Chandler puts on his humoring facade and asks Joey, "What's up?" And Joey says he's an actor, fairly neat, owns a TV, and he's totally okay with the gay thing. And Chandler questions, "What gay thing?" And Joey tries to cover by saying, in general, the whole people being gay thing. And awkwardly talking about gay people was not what Chandler wanted, so he thanks Jerry for stopping by and shows Jerry into the hallway. But younger Monica likes the bulletproof vest gold chain look and exchanges sexy haze with Jerry. And Monica mouths, "Oh my God," or something to Chandler, who does not care because he's not gay. Although I think by the end of the series, we land on Chandler being like 80-20 at least, right?
I didn't know that, but okay. So we're in the bar, which is soon to be Central Perk. Mm-hmm. Monica and Chandler there. Chandler walks in and Mon says, "Do you want to hear something that sucks?"
Do I ever?
Chris says that they're closing down the bar. Chandler is shocked and appalled.
Shocked and appalled.
Yes. Mon says they're turning it into some kind of coffee place.
Oh, no.
Chandler's still shocked and appalled, asks where they're going to hang out now.
Ugh.
Mon asks about his pick for roommate. That is not the Italian guy. She's very bummed because she thought he was so cute.
Oh, yeah.
Chandler quips, "Yeah, that's what I want. A roommate I can walk around with and be referred to as the funny one."
Dope!
Which is exactly what happened.
Yes.
Monica says the pool table's free, so rack them up. And when she gets back, she's going to whip his butt.
All right. But after that, we're shooting pool.
Meanwhile, a very snooty Rachel and her friends Kiki, who comes to visit Rach in the coffee house later.
Right.
You know, like, "I have elbows."
Right.
And Betsy, the other Rhea Beacey twin, are sending back their drinks. Martini with an onion, not an olive, and a rum and Diet Coke. Rach makes a quip about how hard is it to get a couple of drinks right, foreshadowing her digging at her not being such a very good waitress.
Definitely digging at her.
It was pretty cute.
Yeah.
Betsy proposes a toast now that everyone's drinks are gone.
Yeah, that's
the lady
the best
picks
time.
up their drinks and she proposes a toast. But she says Rachel will be 1 year from now Mrs. Dr. Barry Farber DDS. Rach pulls out the ring again and they all scream.
So it's a year before the events of the first
episode.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I missed that line when I was watching it, and I was wondering when, like, because sometimes it seems like a couple weeks.
Yeah, right. No.
Like some of the Ross talking about his wife seems like it's like a month away from the first episode.
Yeah. Well, it probably took him a while to, like, break up.
Right.
Because, Ross can't have conversations like an adult in his Granimal shirt. Sorry, we're really picking on Ross this episode.
But he also gets her pregnant during that time frame, too.
That's
So,
true.
oh, remember that dentist that shot that old-ass lion?
Aw.
Was that Barry? Because Rachel's jacket appears to be genuine grimace fur.
Her outfit is really bad. They all are.
Yes.
But Kiki points out that it's like having a boyfriend for life. And Rach is already talking about it being Barry for the rest of her life.
Ugh.
She thinks she needs one more fling to get it out of her system.
Like if they were on a break, or...
One night of meaningless sex with the next guy she sees. Which I didn't put down, but if you think about it, Paolo was that guy. Before she settled down. He was the
Right.
night of meaningless sex.
Animal sex,
Yeah,
animal sex,
animal
yes.
sex. So Chandler throws his pool ball over in their general direction, and Rach ain't picking it up what he's throwing down.
Right, and this confuses me a little bit because later she fantasizes about Chandler, but in this moment she acts like she could give a shit. And it's the same guy that who she kissed a year ago in college. Never mind.
I know.
Again, you try to get they backfill so much of the story later
Right.
that it breaks down if you
It
think
does
about
break
it.
down. Yeah. It's like going back to the future in the future. So Mom has returned and says, "Oh, God, I went to high school with that girl." And she shouts, "Rachel!" Chandler is not happy about calling her over, and there's a cut line where Rachel holds up her finger at the table as she says, "Monica!" And Monica looks at Chandler and says, "Is she giving me the finger?" But she's holding up her ring finger, trying to
Right.
show off that, yeah. So Rachel comes over and immediately shoves her finger in her face and asks what she thinks as she's hugging her. And Mon says, "You can't see where the Titanic hit it." And she informs her, "He's a doctor, thank you very much." Which is kind of a bitchy thing to say. I never got that. Like,
Right.
I'm employed, thank you very much.
Right. Well, it's also the only interesting thing to say about Barry.
It's true.
So I think she's just like, I'm engaged and he's a doctor. There, I won.
Right. So Mon says she's glad she's gotten everything she wanted. And she asks Monica if she's seeing anyone, to which she says no, to which Rachel says, "Well, that's okay." And Monica goes, "I know."
I don't want to be married at 23.
And
like
Rach
some
has-
people, Joe.
Hey, you were married too.
I know.
So Rach heads back to her friends as Mon says, $10 says I never see that woman again in her life. One, I wish that when Rachel walked in, Chandler stuck out his hand to Monica.
Right.
And was like, "Where's my $10?"
Right.
But I bet you all the time, don't I?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, you
always
do.
like, $5 all the time. I bet you $5 a girl kid will say this. I never win.
Well,
Never.
Monica lost that bet.
I
So.
know. She did. I bet my cousin this weekend $50. I lost.
Yes.
But she told me to enjoy a few margaritas on her. So guess we're going out this weekend.
Okay. All right. So now we're at Monica and Phoebe's, and Ross is there. Ross is on the phone urging his wife to go play with Susan. And Phoebe overhears and asks what the pair of ladies are doing, and he says, "Something girly." And Phoebe is carrying her lamp out, still smuggling one atom at a time. I get it. Phoebe just couldn't afford to move, so she just carried one thing a day
Right.
until she was moved.
Until she was moved. Right.
Yeah. But Monica comes home early and asks what she's doing with the lamp. And Phoebe lies that she's taking it to be rewired, and Monica urges her against the same place Phoebe took her stereo because they've had that for like 2 months.
It's only over a week, she says.
Well, I can playfully embellish. They've all seen the show. Note, I think I can see Monica's thong through her dress.
Adam! You're terrible. Keep going.
Okay. Then there's a knock at the door. It's fucking Mr. Eccles!
Yay!
They brought back Mr. Eccles.
So cute.
Phoebe immediately tells him, no one's making any noise. Mr. Eccles claims that they're disturbing his oboe practice.
You don't play the oboe.
I could play the oboe. And Phoebe then says, well, then I'll have to ask you to keep it down, and door slam. Which is pretty fun. And then a cutscene Phoebe threatens to kill him one day, and then she'll get away with it too.
Hey, that never happened.
Oh, you're no fun. But anyway, the audience loves how Phoebe dealt with the dead man, and they cheer as she dances a little hop. And outside the door in the hall, an unrelenting Mr. Heckles shifts his attention to the long-haired yuppie scum bopping down the hall. So, side note, long-haired yuppie scum is the character name given to producer Lawrence Bender for his cameos in Pulp Fiction and Four Rooms. The moniker also seemed to fit Eric, so I used it here.
That was funny. I didn't know that he goes by long-haired hippie scum.
Yeah, long-haired yuppie scum.
Yuppie scum, sorry.
Yuppie scum. Yeah, that's what he calls him, and Tim Roth calls him that.
In Four Rooms. In Pulp Fiction.
When he's rounding them up. But anyway, back to the program. Heckles asks this new guy who he is. And Eric says, "Hi, I'm Eric. I'm going to be Chandler's new roommate." That was all the psychopath we know as Mr. Heckles needed. He could see right through Eric's artistic guise. He could see through to the murderous intentions Eric held beneath that fake smile. And this great man, this hero, Mr. Heckles, did what he had to do to keep this man away from those he held so dear. He claimed himself to be Chandler's new roommate. And Eric's demented mind tried to grapple with these intense mind games by claiming, "I don't think so. I could be Chandler's new roommate." Mr. Heckles expertly parries.
He told me over the phone.
He told me in person. Eric thinks this is weird. You see, no sane person would believe this married-haired old man in a bathrobe standing in the hall, but a murdering psycho would, because their brains are all messed up. I haven't got all the details worked out yet.
The show. Get back to the show.
Okay. So Mr. Heckles takes his lie to the next step by grabbing the door handle of his new apartment and turns it. And it's unlocked. And he's like, and leaving Dahmer to go hunt somewhere else. In Chandler's apartment, I love Chandler comes out of his bedroom to find Mr. Heckles just going through his mail. And he's like, "Ah!" And he startles Mr. Heckles.
I love it. I wish there was a cut scene on there, like how they resolved
Right.
that, but there wasn't, so.
Why are you looking? I'm looking for my mail. you could have my mail.
So we're in the hallway by Monica's apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Monica, Joey, and Chandler. Monica and Joey say sexy haze to each other again.
Mm-hmm.
She thanks Chandler for picking him as a roommate, to which Chandler says, "Don't thank me, thank the jerk who didn't show up."
Yeah,
Which makes me wonder if Chandler called the guy and he was even more confused.
Right.
But then I realized they used the same ruse Mr. Heckles did on Eddie.
Yeah.
They were like, "This is my apartment. I've
Yeah.
always been here." And the other person was like, "Oh, my mistake."
My mistake. Bye-bye. Nobody, I mean, nowadays he'd be like texting Chandler.
Right,
But-
right. What the fuck is going on? So Chandler says he has to go to work. And on the DVD, there's a cut line. And he says, "Not just for the money, but because every now and then someone walks out of the bathroom with a little bit of toilet paper on their shoe.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that happen.
That's why he goes to work."
Yeah. Sometimes it's the little things.
So Monica asks Joey if he needs help with his stuff, and then he almost falls over. She supports him with her arms around his waist, and he says, "Whoa, stood up too fast, got a little head rush."
Oh.
Monica offers that it's the heat and the humidity, to which Joey replies, "Dangerous combination."
Mm-hmm.
She invites him in for lemonade.
Close.
He says, "Like you wouldn't believe." He compliments her on her place, and she thanks him and tells him to make himself comfortable. Is it me, or does this really sound like the beginning of a porno?
Well, it might, but then she starts talking about her grandmother.
That's true.
So that would throw me off. And Joey's shoes are super squeaky. Did you
Really?
hear it?
I didn't notice that. That's funny. As he's walking?
Yeah, when he walks into Monica's apartment, somebody's shoes are like you walking into Target, squeaky.
I don't know why, but every time we walk into Target, my shoes make noise.
Yes.
But
do.
anyhow, she starts to tell him about the apartment is her grandmother's, and she got it when she moved to Florida. Otherwise, she couldn't afford it. And all the while, Joey is stripping naked and sniffing his armpits.
Ooh.
She
classy.
finishes her story with the landlord. If the landlord ever asks, she's an 87-year-old who's afraid of her VCR. You thirsty?
You bet I am.
Okay, here's your penis.
Oh.
Monica yells at Joey, "Oh my God, what the hell are you doing?" And Joey explains the euphemism that Mon did not get.
Or did not exist.
He asked if she was just going to give him lemonade. She goes, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I love her. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's shocked that when people ask him for lemonade, it's code for having sex. He says usually it's not just lemonade, iced tea, sometimes juice. He apologizes and says he thought she liked him. He's such a jerk.
So Joey just strips anytime someone asks him if he wants a drink?
They probably had to have many conversations that first couple of
Yeah.
years.
Chandler had to be like, dude.
Stop taking off your clothes. She accepts the apology and says she supposes it could happen to anyone, not anyone she knows.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
And then she tells him she can still see it.
All right. So then we're at Monica and Phoebe's, and those two ladies are there. And Phoebe is watering the menagerie of plants they had in the apartment 3 years ago. Monica is sweeping and stops to ask Phoebe where her bed is. And Phoebe comes grinding to a halt and then plays dumb for a second, saying, "It's not in the apartment?" And then she goes, "Oh no, I can't believe this is happening again." And Monica, not falling for it, it's like, "What?" And Phoebe now gives up, admitting that she doesn't live there anymore. And she didn't know how to tell Monica, but everybody else knows.
Everybody knows?
And she says that was supposed to be a good thing, and I forget why. And then she explains that she could not sleep for a month because she got a tiny dot of ink on one of the sofa cushions. And Monica suggests she could have just flipped it over. And then Phoebe admits that that was not an option because she had a huge spaghetti stain on the other side. And Monica starts to freak, and Phoebe goes, "Yes, that's the reaction. That's why I can't live here. I need to live in a land where people can spill." And I love that she says land.
A land where people can spill.
And Monica assures her that she can spill in the sink. And Phoebe's like, "That's cool, Monica. It's who you are, and I love you, and I want to remain friends. But if she stays, that's not going to happen." And Monica has a sad look on her face, which Phoebe deducts is not really about the friendship, but wondering which cushion has the giant spaghetti stain on it.
Yeah, so on the DVD, there is a cut scene at the end when Phoebe says to Monica, "No, you're not sad. You're just wondering which cushion it is."
Right.
And Monica yells, "Why can't I think of both? I can think two things." Phoebe tells her to go ahead and look. You know you want to look. So go. Monica races over to the couch, starts flipping the cushions until she finds a very large, looks to be unwiped spaghetti stain, and holds the cushion up and goes, "Oh my God!"
Wow. There's just a can of SpaghettiOs on the cushion.
It was like the boy kid dropped something and was like, "That fell? I didn't even notice."
He is like that.
So we're in the new Joey and Chan's apartment. Joey and
Yes.
Chandler are there. So Chandler comes out of his room to see Joey drinking beer and watching TV, and he asks what he's watching. And he says, "Baywatch." "What's it about?" "Lifeguards." Chandler starts to say, "It sounds kind of stupid." Ooh, who's she? Nicole Eggert. She's the actress from Who's the Boss, Charles in Charge, Baywatch, and a couple after-school specials.
We like her.
So Joey says we like her, and Chandler says, "Whoa, look at them run." And Joey points out that they do that a lot. He asks Chan if he wants a beer, and he does, and he offers to go get one, but Joey says, "No, wait, I got a cooler right here."
And Chandler, being offered a drink, immediately takes off all of his clothes.
Then cut to Chandler going to Monica's, asking if she has any beers. She comes from the shower and is wrapped in only a towel.
Mm-hmm.
She's sad. He asks if she's okay, and she tells him Phoebe moved out.
Aww.
She asks if she's hard to live with, and is that why she doesn't have a boyfriend? And Chandler is perplexed and says he doesn't know why she doesn't have a boyfriend. I think you should. And she goes, I think so. He hugs her and tells her that she is one of his most favorite people and the most beautiful woman he's ever known in real life.
It's so sweet. It almost makes up for Joey being so disgusting
Right?
earlier.
I know. It's got to make you feel good after that.
So now we're at the bar. Is that what it's called, or are we just calling
I
it?
couldn't find any name. I looked everywhere,
Okay.
and they never called it anything but the bar.
Okay.
So.
The bar. Is that the name of the bar in Gone Girl,
Yeah,
right?
the bar.
Yeah. I was like, that's from something.
Yeah, where are you? I'm at the bar.
All right, so we're there with Phoebe and Ross, and Phoebe is alone at the bar, but Ross comes in with his sad little hi before asking where everybody is. And Phoebe says it's closed already, but Chris left her the keys to lock up. That was nice of Chris.
That was, yeah.
you know.
My bar's closing. You can just have it.
Yeah, here's the keys. And she asks why Ross seems like Eeyore off his meds. And he turns out that his marriage to the lesbian is over because he's not a lesbian. And Phoebe calls him a poor bunny.
Oh, poor bunny.
Oh, poor bunny. I'd be like, did you just call me a poor bunny?
Well, he is wearing granimals.
It's on the bottom of his shirt. It's out of the frame. Ross explains that he should have known that they'd be out. And Carol would say, hey, Ross, look at the stems on that vine. Or, hey, look at that rack of lamb.
Adam.
And Ross would think, man, my wife's cool. Too cool for you, Rossatron. Ross tries to pour himself 6 shots, but the bottle merely trickles into one. And Phoebe asks if he thinks the Susan person is Carol's lover.
Well, now I do.
And then he starts Ross complaining, 7 years, and she's the only woman that ever loved him, and the only one that blah, blah, blah. And Phoebe gives him a hug.
We cut back to Monica and Chandler, and they're still hugging.
Right, everybody's hugging.
Mm-hmm.
And Chandler says, this is nice.
I know it is, isn't it?
No, it feels really good. Is it 100% cotton?
Yeah, and I got it on sale, too. And then there's a cut line where Chandler goes, it looks like it would be nubby, but it's not. Which is funny, because you hate nubbies.
I hate nubbies. Oh, it looks nubby, but it's not. It's soft.
It's very soft.
And you would definitely be like, I got it on sale. Then Chandler says he has to get back. One of the lifeguards was dismantling a nuclear device. I just want to say, I think it would be awesome if Baywatch was really like that. I've never seen Baywatch.
I think it is.
So I think it would be cool if Hasselhoff was disarming a nuclear device.
I think they have like MacGyver-like episodes where weird things happen on the beach.
We'll have to
watch an episode.
I don't
we can watch one episode. We'll pick a random episode.
We'll pick her. See if there's a nuclear episode. Monica suggests getting a drink later, and Chandler tells her every little thing is going to be...
I know. Thanks.
And they point goodbyes to each other, which we need to start pointing goodbyes, I think.
Okay.
So then we're back in the bar, and Ross thinks if he'd have been more this or that or had a uterus, he'd still be married happily. And Phoebe tells him he doesn't deserve this, and she tells him he's good and kisses him and sweet and kind, and then they're making out. It does not look right, the two of them.
No.
And then Ross is it by trying to sweep the pool balls off in a swoop, and they bounce all over. And Phoebe jumps on the pool table, and Ross does too, hitting his head on the light. And then he gets his foot stuck in a pocket, and he can't get it out. And Phoebe says,
that's not something a girl wants to hear.
And Ross says, don't start, which I think is a funny way to start making out with somebody.
Right.
And then he's like, ow, ow, stupid balls are in the way. And then they start laughing because he picks up the pool balls. And the laughing killed the mood. And he hits his head once more for good measure. And then Monica and Chandler and Joey walk in. And good thing they weren't banging on the pool table, I guess.
Yeah.
I'd been like, ah! My eyes! My eyes!
Joey probably would have taken his clothes off and tried to get in.
So Phoebe covers, as I have pointed out many times, with a goofy line per her psychosis. Well, you're right. I don't know why I thought this was real grass. It's just another one of those, her saying something wacky to cover for something else really going on. And Monica asks what's wrong, and Ross explains that his wife is a lesbian, and Joey says, cool. And Chandler's like, Ross, Joey, Joey, Ross.
I like that introduction. Now we're at the tag or the stinger, the bar / Central Perk. Chandler is alone, and in walks 3 years ago Rachel, and he says, I can't believe you came back. She says, don't say anything. I don't want to speak. I don't want to think. I just want you to take me, kiss me, and make love to me right here, right now. And she pounds the jukebox, a.k.a. Arthur Fonzarelli, the Fonz.
Dun, dun, dun.
They start to kiss, and then Kiki yells, Rachel, Rachel, you missed the exit. And Betsy says, my God, what were you thinking about? She hesitates and then says, Barry? To which the girls go, aww. And that's the end of the episode.
That's the end.
Cut and print. All right, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back.
I can't believe you came back.
Don't say anything. I don't want to speak. I don't want to think. I just want you to take me and kiss me and make love to me right here, right now.
Is that an oboe? Shh. Rachel! Rachel! You're driving into oncoming traffic! All right.
We're back. So what did we learn from this episode?
Joe, what did you learn?
I learned that Mr. Heckles is the reason that we have Joey and Chandler as roommates.
Aw.
We should thank Mr. Heckles.
We should. And he saved them all from murder.
That's right. The crazy murderous born photographer.
I learned that Monica and Phoebe had a lot of plants.
Yeah. And then they must have been Phoebe's?
I don't know, yeah. And then Chandler needed to throw out that couch. Did you see the couch he and Joey were sitting on?
Yeah.
Oof. And I thought Rachel liked fashion. Why is she stabbing it in the face?
I know. It's like, really, she went from that to how she was.
Right.
It's just really a big 180.
Big one.
All right, so what are your final thoughts on this episode?
So really only Ross and Phoebe almost scratched on the pool table, right?
Scratched.
I mean, there was no way Monica and Joey were going to...
Oh, no.
Joey thought they were almost going to...
Yeah, yeah.
But it doesn't count if only one person thinks it's going to happen.
I like this episode. I think it's funny. I like the roommate thing, the Ross and Phoebe almost getting together, who moving out, Monica not noticing, and Rachel fantasizing about Chandler. Priceless.
Yeah.
Crazy priceless. All right, so our sweater vest tracker.
It's still at 1.
Sad and lonely.
Yeah,
one.
no sweater vest. This was pre-sweater vest Chandler, I guess.
I guess.
He had the
maybe
goatee.
he lost the goatee, and then that's when he picked up the sweater vest.
Right, maybe he got the job and then he shaved the goatee.
Maybe he had a different job when the goatee was.
He worked at a bowling alley or something.
All right, what's our rating for this episode?
All right, the rating is 9 out of 10 stars.
Wow.
With 7,000 ratings.
All right, so I went online for the review for this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I picked this one because it was pretty funny. So it wasn't like a 9, but it was an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
By Lady Targaryen. 5/12/2008.
I think that's Game of Thrones name.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, that's
I
all
don't
right.
speak Dothraki.
Oh, she knows Dothraki.
From The Office. All right, so this one's called The One with the Flashback. Janice stays curious to know about the past relationship between the friends, or in good English, who slept with whom.
Mm-hmm.
The friends start to remember 3 years earlier when Phoebe still lived with Monica, when Chandler was choosing his new roommate, and Monica was interested in Joey, the hot Italian guy, in quotes. The central perk at the time was a bar and not a cafeteria. I have no idea what that means.
It's not a cafeteria. Wow.
No idea.
I thought it was a cafeteria before. All right.
Rachel still was engaged to Barry and was a rich, spoiled girl. The funny thing is to see Chandler interested in Rachel and trying to hit on her.
Yeah.
Ross and Phoebe make out after the end of Ross's wedding and his discovery that Carol is a lesbian.
At the end of Ross's, they must have meant marriage.
I don't think English was their first language. But there was a couple one-line reviews. That's all I had. It was one line, so
Okay.
I thought I'd throw those in there.
All right.
I like the bit about the flashback, which must have occurred at an earlier period of time.
Wow. Yes, that's how flashbacks work.
Oh my god. Now this is my favorite one. The
Okay.
guy who applies as Chandler's roommate with the long hair and glasses, is that Tag? Also, the couch in Monica's apartment, is that the pivot couch? If someone knows, please give this a thumbs up.
Well, I know, so I'll thumb up it.
There was so many thumbs down on that post. It was so funny. How could they think that guy was Tag?
Right.
Tag is so tall. That guy was Chandler's, like shorter than Chandler.
Yeah.
Oh, those were so funny.
Is that the pivot couch? No, I think they just built a really weak,
Yes.
light couch for them to carry around
Absolutely.
on the
And it
pivot
was
episode.
ginormous couch. All right, what's our episode next week?
The one with the race car bed.
Ooh, what's our synopsis?
Okay, Joey quote-unquote teaches an acting class. Ross and Rachel have a lovely dinner with Dr. Green. And Monica buys a discounted bed from the Mattress King, which is Janice's estranged husband. That's about it.
All right, are you ready for some maladjusted content?
I am ready.
So, other than hurting your back,
Yes.
how was your week?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, we were getting back into the normal groove.
Yes.
Being back from vacation, and
Yeah.
then I threw off the groove.
You did throw off the groove. We went to visit your grandma, gave her souvenir.
Yes.
Got to show her lots of Iceland pictures. That was fun. She was very impressed.
She's 94?
94.
Yeah, 95 now, I think.
Oh, did she? Oh, yeah. She just
Yeah.
had a birthday.
Yeah.
95. Aw. She's so sweet.
Yeah. And she loved the Iceland pictures.
Yep.
She's always impressed. She's my grandma. She's always
She's impressed
sup-
by anything.
Yeah.
Anything and everything. So last night we watched, what's it called?
Primal Fear.
Primal Fear. I almost said Primal Suspect. I don't know why.
Primal.
Primer. I almost said Primer, which is a whole different movie.
Yeah, that's a complete. Ooh, we should watch Primer.
Oh, yeah. Okay, if you haven't seen Primer, it's good, but it's really weird, and Adam loves it, and he watches it a lot. So. Are you digging for it now?
Yeah, I'm pulling it off the DVD shelf.
But we watched Primal Fear.
Yes.
Edward Norton, Richard Gere, Laura Linney.
Right.
So good. Such a good movie.
Yeah, it's fun little twists.
Yeah.
A couple twists and turns, and a couple weird subplots that didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah,
That
it was really
I think they were in the book. They probably played out better.
Right.
And,
But it was
which
really-
I looked up the book today and was reading the synopsis, and the Richard Gere character is like fresh out of law school.
Oh,
Blah blah blah.
really?
When's the
Oh
big
my
kiss?
God.
You know, is a wonderkind.
Oh my God, you're kidding.
I was like, oh, they must have changed that.
Oh, like Rain Man, remember that
Yeah.
movie? Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
So yeah,
Oh, but that was a good movie.
yeah.
And so we've just been making sure that your back was warm and stretching and making you feel better the rest of the week.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're getting there.
We're getting there. I'm gonna take my back medicine again after this and lay back down.
Lay
So-
back down. All right.
But I pulled this one through for you guys.
Yes. Applause to you. I appreciate it. All
I'm
right.
going to put in a bunch of booze.
Boo. Let's wrap up the episode.
All right.
If you would like your thoughts or reactions regarding future episodes to be shared with the rest of the class, or you just want to reach out and say hey,
Come on, we'd like to hear from more of you misfits out there.
please email us at themaladjustedmisfits@gmail.com. Rate us and leave positive comments.
And if you have a negative comment, try to leave it in a more positive way.
And I'm going to ask one more favor of you guys.
One more?
Yes, one more favor. If you like our podcast, can you share it with someone else? That's how we're going to grow. So if you like it and you know another Friends fan, or you're on a Friends group on Facebook or Instagram, share our podcast.
Right. Yeah,
Just say this is a fun thing. Maybe you guys should check it out.
punch that like button.
Punch it and subscribe.
Give it 5-star ratings on wherever.
Yeah, I just think that more people would see it if we shared it more. So
Right.
share it.
Share it.
Yeah. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Follow the links in the show notes. The pages are called The One Where We Talk About Friends.
Joe, you ready for a cup of coffee?
Always. Excuse me, I seem to have dropped my ball.